and say hey, um, and let you know that our February group has opened. Let's read up on. But our February group.
Okay, so I hope everyone is having a really good day and lots of festivities planned for the Super Bowl, or maybe you don't even know who's playing, and that's totally fine too. But what we're going to talk about tonight is how do you do the things and how do you level up even when life is really, really busy? Because the most common thing we hear as coaches and as mentor coaches when we ask, what is your struggle? What are the things you're having a hard time with? And this is true for myself as well. It's just that I'm just really busy. Like I just struggle to find that time and how to balance it. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see it? Like give me a thumbs up. Okay. So we're going to talk about how do you not let the distractions get in your way from accomplishing your goals, and specifically talking in like reference to Beachbody, but it could really be applied in any area of your life. So what we have is, let's see if this will go. Okay. So I want you to think really quick just about what your dreams are and what is it? Is it a rank? Is it financial freedom for staying home with your babies and having more time with your husband? Is it being able to pick up and travel at any point and not have to worry about PTO or being docked pay or writing sub plans? What is that thing that matters what is that thing that matters the most to you? The thing that really gets you excited, but also really nervous and gives you that uncomfortable butterfly feeling. And that's how you know it really, really matters. So I want you to either comment in the chat or just write it down on your notes or type it into your phone. What is your dream? And then we're going to think about, well, what would it take to get there? How are you going to possibly achieve that? Do you really want it? And the reason I put really is because do you want it even when you're overtired, even when you've gotten to sleep? Do you really want it when work is demanding that you do so many other things? Do you really want it when you don't have the time for it, but you find the time anyway? And so getting that idea of, okay, is this really a priority for me? And if so, what do I need to do to achieve it? What do my next steps need to be? I'm on the call.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hi.
Is this audio or video?
Video.
Hey, ladies.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so what do you need to do? And I said be realistic, just because sometimes we can dream really, really big, but we know we're not willing to put in the work. And it all comes down into, what are you willing to do the work on? What time are you willing to invest? There's that phrase of doing the not sexy things. Well, are you willing to do them? And are you willing to do them without letting other things come first? So we all have a thing that's stopping us. What is stopping you? Is it fear of being judged? Is it not getting up early enough so you really run out of time, so that by the end of the day, you're not able to stay up later? You're just too fatigued. Is it that you're not supported at home? Or what is the thing? What is it that's really stopping you? And so for me, the biggest thing is fear. It's that fear of, I know I have my values, which I want to impart on other people, but I don't want to seem pushy. Or I am not comfortable sharing like a picture of me in my sports bra online. So and that's just me being a teacher. I have parents that follow me, kids that follow me, like just for me. But that fear of like, how do I keep that and stay comfortable, but still level up? So what is it that's stopping you? We're all having to be ourselves. You can try to be like someone else, you can do what someone else does, but it's never going to be as successful as if you find what is it with you? Because the people who sign up with you they have similarities to you. They have the same humor. They're connecting to you for a reason. So channeling that uniqueness, and then identifying what is really stopping you, even in the crazy seasons of life, so that you can address it and so that you can allow it not to stop you going forward. So this is something I feel really, really strongly about because everyone's busy. Every single person you talk to, whether they do Beachbody or not, they're busy. They have a lot going on, and it comes in waves and it comes in seasons. So maybe one week you're really busy at home and it's pretty calm, but you're able to get home at a decent time. And then the next week, every minute of every single day is planned and the to-do list is a mile long. How do we find a way to not use that as an excuse and to allow it to dictate how we manage our time? How are we going to invest in our business? How are we going to invest in ourselves? Even though you're busy, because everyone's busy. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but that's not special to you or to me. It's just how it is across the board. Everyone has their stuff. It might look different for different people, but I guarantee someone has it worse off than you and someone has it not as hard as you do. There's both ends of the spectrum, and that can be true for everyone. So the question comes down to, when we honestly reflect at our life and at how we feel, and really take a minute, maybe after the call, you just sit for a few minutes in silence and think, what is it with me? What am I willing to do? What habits do I need to change? So, are you investing the amount of time that you really need to every single day? So, are you getting up early enough? Are you actively doing your invites? I'll never forget, well, it's happened on numerous occasions where life kind of got away from me and I'd be like, I haven't done the set number I said I was going to do. And having that accountability and having my friends say to me, you need to do 15 more before bed. Like, even if that's all you get done, but doing it and not letting the fatigue, not letting plans with friends or other things get in the way. It doesn't mean you don't do those things. You certainly still do. It just means, how are you going to block out time so that you can reach those goals? Because it's so easy to say, oh, it's just this one time. I just won't do it today. But if you're anything like me, that is a slippery slope, because the next thing I know, it's like been 4 days and I haven't sent any invites and I'm not following up the way I need to. And it's just tricky. So consistency is key, and that consistency over time, that little bits of behavior that compound, that are going to get you that goal, that are going to help you feel satisfied, that are going to help you feel fulfilled, because it doesn't happen overnight. At our most recent retreat, and the idea was this piñata, and how you go to hit a piñata, you don't just hit it once and the candy doesn't fall. Like, it takes multiple people, it takes multiple times of hitting this piñata over and over and over again, and failing over and over and over again until you get the sweets. Same thing as in this business. It doesn't happen right away, and it comes and it goes, and it definitely fluctuates with your success. However, are you going to be consistent? Are you going to keep swinging? Are you able to take that initiative even when it's hard? Because it's the same as in workouts. That change, that burn. I think it's Shanti that always says, like, when you're pushing through, when you can't go anymore, that's when the change really happens. And the same is in our business. When we're having a hard time, maybe we're not signing people up as much as we want to be, but when we keep pushing, that's when the change really happens. So are you going to make a change? Are you going to establish new habits that are going to get you to where you want to go? Here we are on the Super Bowl. I'm at my friend's house. They're all out there eating food, having their drinks, still my wine. Of course I do. But I'm making the time. I'm making it work with my life and how it works. I don't feel like I could have said, oh, can't be on the call tonight, but this is important to me. And the fact that you are all on this call too, it's important to you. So it's really easy to be like, yeah, okay, I do want this, but how? And so these are some things that through personal development, professional development, that really can make a difference. And so we've talked a little bit about scheduling out your day in the very beginning of this internship and using Google Calendar, using your planners, but write down everything. Take a notebook, even just for this week, just so you can see how much time is actually being wasted on other things. Write down, okay, 4:30, wake up. 4:40, take meds, drink water. 4:50, bit by bit, every second of your day, because as you do that, you're going to realize how much more time you have that you didn't even realize. We look at these major coaches in the business. They have the same amount of time that we do. And they put that same amount of effort in the beginning in the same way. A lot of them had kids. A lot of them had a full-time job. They didn't just start off as a stay-home mom or staying home and being able to dedicate all day. That's just not the way it works. So look at your time and do an honest reflection of how you're spending it. Are you spending it scrolling? And I do that too. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I just wasted like 35 minutes on something I have nothing to show for. But recognizing it and then using that to make a change, because it's not a simple fix. It's something that you always come back to repeatedly, and then you have to adjust again. The next one is to set work hours. So being really, really specific, that way you can hold yourself accountable and sharing it with someone. So I have mine written on a Post-it and it's stuck up on our wall. And I went up to Michael and said, okay, every day, these are my work hours and I'm going to try to be done by 7 because typically that's when he gets home. And except for my team call nights. So also using the tracker, your Success Club tracker, your if you're using a specific tracker that was on the drive for invites that breaks it apart a week for each week. And then identifying what's your survival list and your daily list. Because if you're only hitting your survival list every single day, something's wrong. Your survival list should be for those dire situations. Your survival list should be for those days where you feel completely overwhelmed and you're on the brink of tears or a total breakdown because you don't know how you're going to get all the things done. Invites should be one of those things on your survival list. Working out should be one of those things on your survival list. But the difference is your invites might be 5 versus 50, but you're still showing up. Maybe you're taking a baby step instead of a leap, but you're still moving forward. You're still making decisions that are pushing you in the trajectory of where you say you want to go. But then also to put into practice what you're learning. And this is where I really, really struggle with my personal development and sense of business, is that I'll listen to it or I'll listen to a call and be like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. That's amazing. And then the next day, I'm not doing the things I'll pick one and then I won't go back to pick the others. So continuing that learning process so that you're evolving, because technology is changing faster than we can really learn it. But that doesn't mean that we don't try. We have to be successful by being creative and finding the things that are creative for you. For me, TikTok is not my thing. I feel really awkward. I have no dance moves. Like, I tried it and I was like, I feel like so ridiculous. This just isn't me. And that's fine. For some people it is, and I'm so envious of that because I love watching them. But finding the things that work for you, and because time is so limited and because time is so precious, you have to be able to invest your time wisely. So don't waste it on things that aren't you and that aren't getting you the traction. If you're making all these beautiful unfold stories and things on Canva and they're not getting people signed up, I personally stopped, and I've been using the shared things. And then when I have extra time, I'll make multiple that I can just pull later. But I'm not incorporating that into my daily practice because that's not a wise use of my time for the season that I'm in right now. So figuring out your strengths and figuring out what's going to be best for you and your business. If there was one takeaway I learned at the retreat this past weekend, or last week, was no one did it the same way. We had 44 girls in that house, and they all budgeted their time differently. They all were really busy. That was the thread we heard then too. I'm just really busy there. I just don't know how to incorporate that in. I really want to, but I don't know where the time will come from. Well, it has to come from something else. And so that's the hardest part. So things that have worked for me are the 5-second rule. So being able to count down, but then also applying that to my life and the people around me. So I'll share with Michael, like, oh, I just heard this really great thing today. And I voice it and I say it out loud because it helps me then internalize it and apply it into my life. The 5-second rule I loved because I'm a snoozer. I'm trying not to be. I've gotten better, but still not great. And so that's helped me follow through on things because follow through has never been my strong suit until I started coaching and until I found this passion and this desire for things. And some days it's still not there. But how do we continue to choose to follow through even when we don't want to? And that's the difference. Motivation isn't always going to be there, but your willpower has to be. Success partners, having multiple groups of people to rely on, to check in with you on, is a huge thing for me. For me to be able to say, like, today's workout really killed me, or even with the work, everyone loved the work and I hated it and I stuck through. But to have them say, like, find something that works for you, or, you committed, you can do it, stick with it, and that support. But also for invites, for running groups together, for carrying that workload together, has been really, really helpful, especially when life is really, really busy. Having to post 3 or 4 days a week because you're alternating days is much easier to manage. So if you're finding that challenge groups are hard for you right now, team up with someone, combine, split the work, find a success partner or partners and do it in a group. I mentioned earlier that sharing things out loud and voicing them really helps hold me accountable. And I do it with Michael because I know he's going to be like watching and paying attention. And as I said before, like, follow through has never been to. My mom and I joke about how for her either it's like, well, you got it from me, must be a family trait, but it's not. It's a decision. And so by sharing with him what my goals are, with sharing with him that, this week is a really busy week, but on Monday I'm going to do this, and on Tuesday I'm going to do this, helps me then be like, okay, I really need to do this. And I can't just brush it under the rug. This year you may have seen, maybe you haven't, I wanted to do a run 365, run 365 days out of the year. And immediately I was like, nope, you can't do that. Like, you're going to fail. You're not going to follow through. But I've been posting my runs every day because I realized, that was important to me and I wanted to try. And if I fail, I fail, but at least I tried. So I post my runs online so that I have that accountability piece. And I don't know if anyone notices, like, there were 2 days I ran but didn't post. But then I went back to it because I'm like, no, I need this because there are days I'm not going to want to do it. But I need to know that there's something stronger. The foundation is stronger to hold me accountable. And then the last thing that really works well for me when things are busy and when life is extra crazy is writing everything down in to-do lists. I have them in my work planner. I have them on Post-it notes. I have them on notebooks around the house. I have them for everything. And so they're modified constantly. But anytime you have a thought, you're able to jot it. And so for me, that just really helps manage the workload. So I would suggest that for everyone, but you can do it in your phone. You can do reminders, some sort of list to help you keep track. And that kind of goes hand in hand with writing out your schedule. So Sean T was at the retreat last week, but he's like my favorite trainer. And he says all these things about putting in the work and digging deeper while we're working out. And it applies to us then. We're like, yes, I'm going to squat a little deeper and I'm going to do another push-up. Like in our heads, we can mentally push through because we know it's ending. But we can apply that to our businesses. You can dig deeper. You can change what you're doing to make an improvement. So I challenge you to dig deeper. I challenge you to feel the work of this business, because just like working out, you're not going to get the results unless you do. They're just not going to come. So you get to choose. Are you going to do it or are you not? And unfortunately, that choice comes in when it's the busiest and when it's the craziest and when you don't want it the most. It's really easy on a day when we're feeling like, yes, I'm excited, to choose it. And we all do, I'm pretty sure. If we're feeling good and we're excited, we're going to choose to do the things. But it's choosing to do the things on the days you don't want to, or on the days where you feel like all the walls are crushing in, but you're choosing to do it anyway because you know it's worth it in the long run. So I want you to kind of reflect and comment one thing you're going to do to stay on your goals when life gets busy, and one thing you're proud of yourself for doing already. Because here we are talking about, like, how can we manage our time and how can we not use life is busy as an excuse? And it's really easy to overlook all we've already done and all the positive things we've already accomplished in our business. So, the Rise Up Journal has the Win the Week. But really take a minute to think, what is something that you're really proud of yourself for? What is something you do well? What do you have to offer to others? Because that's more important. It's just like the downscale victories. They're more important. So you can do this. You can find the time. You deserve to do this for yourself, for your family. You are worth whatever dream you are wanting to achieve. It's just up to you to keep taking those steps, even if it's a baby step every single day, to take it that one step further. And so I feel all of y'all. This week is a really, really exceptionally crazy one for us. I have every hour booked after school, but you better believe I'm getting up an extra 45 minutes earlier in my morning to make up for that so that I can get my coach work done. So it's all about, I have my to-do list. We have a huge visit Thursday, which is all exciting, and it's really easy to get stressed, and it's really easy to feel that pressure on your chest and to just want to throw your hands up and curl under the covers. But it's not going to go away. It's still going to be there. So the best thing you can do is deal with it head on and post your why, post that emotional trigger somewhere where you can go to it when it seems really, really hard, because you deserve it and because you are worthy. So that's all I have for you today. I know it's a really busy day. Sorry, I haven't looked at any of the chats, but I can go back and read them. But are there any questions or comments or things, that do work for you, or something you really struggle with?
I do want to say, on top of what she said, because that was all yes. Okay, hold on. On top of everything she said, I think sometimes it's so easy for us to think short term and not long term. Like what Samantha was saying, like, yes, it's so hard for me to get up right now, or yes, sorry guys, January is just so busy for me. Things will ease off in February, and kind of put things on the back burner. But do you really want, like, whatever you guys typed at the top of this, or whatever reason you joined in, like the star one, hold on. Like, do you really want that thing to happen, or do you just want to say you want it to happen? Because wanting it and doing the things to make it happen every day are totally different. When I decided, I mean, I was already 75% in, but when I decided I was going to go like 110% into this business, and I knew I was going to be staying home starting last January, I had a 1-year-old, I had a newborn, I was still teaching, I did Girls on the Run 2 days a week. Like, I still had a ton of things going on, but I got up at 4 every single morning, even if I was super tired. And the thing that I would ask myself is, do you want to stay home with your kids full time, or do you want to sleep 30 extra minutes? Which one of those sounds better? 30 minutes of sleep one day, or staying home with your kids for years and years to come? Like, so think about it in those short-term, long-term things, like Samantha was saying, because I think sometimes it's easy for us to be like, oh, I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing it today. Tomorrow I'll do better. Or like, next month will be better. I'm just going to call this month a wash. No. Do you really, then you don't really want this thing. Like, if you're not going to show up for it, then you don't really want it. Or you just want to say that you want it. So you guys really show up for yourselves, because there's not a single reason why every single one of you guys can't be like killing it.
Mm-hmm. And so I think too, we've all done that, right? Like so this is not something we're announcing publicly, but I've shared with a bunch of you. So like, you know, we'll do our formal announcement when we're further, but we started the adoption process over Christmas vacation in January. And I like fully had that mindset, like, oh, I'm just going to need to ease up a little bit. Like, I don't know how I'm going to find this time. And to do like literally the paperwork is unreal. Like, go and then have all these appointments, going for physicals, getting blood drawn, you know, getting letters from the insurance company, doing this 16-hour adoption course, which was horrible. You know, it's like Michael jokes. He says he doesn't want to adopt anymore because he doesn't want our future children to come out like these women who ran this course. Like, it was just so horrible. And we have our home visit Thursday. And so we're doing like literally everything. But then I went to the retreat and I was like, I got to make it work. You know, I'll get up earlier, because it's that long-term goal, because something's always going to pop up. And that's life. It's unexpected. And there's always going to be things that are demanding your time and calling for you. But what are you going to listen to? What call is going to be most important for you? Is it staying home with your kids? Is it, you know, you guys said them all. So, but just, it gets crazy. It gets busy. But just go back down to it and find your reset. So for me, it just worked out that it was the retreat this weekend. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like, I'm going to find a way to do both. But maybe it's, you have one person that you can talk to and you're like, oh, I just really want to slow down a little bit. No, like, find what's going to give you that slap in the face when you need it to keep going. So that's all I got.
So good. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Aside from Raleigh, does anybody have any questions? Sassy today. All right, let me get, if your video's not on, turn it on if you want to be in the boom. Are you going to be in it with me, Raleigh? Yes. Yes. Thank you. All right. Can you raise the roof, Raleigh? Well, hold on. I'll tell you when to go. Okay, everybody ready? I'm not going to cry in it. You're okay. Ready? Set. Go. And of course you're crying in it. That's okay. That's accurate. All right. I recorded this, so I'll post it on YouTube and send it to all of you guys. Okay? And you guys have got it this week. Choose your hard. I believe in all of you. Thank you, Samantha.
Yeah.
Love you guys.